Welcome back, true believers and all you merry Marvelites, to another very personal and in-depth discussion-related video, of course, to Marvel's Avengers, the Avengers Project, because there is some stuff going on as of late. Mainly, it's August, so eventually, near the end of this month, literally the very end, like August 31st, is supposedly where Square Enix, Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Marvel Games are finally going to publicly reveal the A-Day Golden Gate Bridge gameplay demo that was showcased at E3 and San Diego Comic-Con, except this time around it's going to be the fully polished version, supposedly, of the demo for the public to see, which is why you see people online, the graphics look bad, the gameplay looks so boring, the trailer doesn't look great. It's because it's not fully polished yet. So, and they're saying it's still in the pre-alpha stages of its development, like we know. So, the visual quality of the demo is going to be fully finished by the end of August, where everyone can see it. However, there's also some slight news going on that Jeff Keighley, who usually runs the Game Awards, is also reporting news about Gamescom, and mainly that Gamescom is essentially E3, big gaming conference in Germany. So it's like they're going to show all these new games, different announcements, new updates for games that are already out, or announcements for games that are not out, and Sony's gonna be there, you know, Bandai Namco, all these different companies and publishers from video games, and mainly Square Enix, because they're the publisher for the Avengers, and as we know, they are going to reveal the demo a week after Gamescom. But Square Enix themselves did say that they do have some very interesting announcements to be revealed on the opening night of Gamescom itself. So I didn't want to do a full video on this, I just wanted to kind of discuss it at the beginning of this one, that they could probably showcase some stuff, maybe another character, maybe another region that we can explore in the game. Like what we know so far, we can explore San Francisco, supposedly, and this snowy area that we see in the behind closed doors footage that you guys haven't seen yet. But there's going to be a lot of environments and a lot of characters added to this game's roster that we know more of the current 5 right now, with Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Black Widow, and also Ant-Man, and mainly Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. So there's probably going to be other heroes added down the line, and hopefully these announcements that Square Enix have planned could relate to Final Fantasy, whichever one that is, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VIII Remake, whichever game they're planning to talk about relating to Final Fantasy, or hopefully what us Marvel fans want is an update besides the gameplay demo of the Avengers Project. Maybe when the beta is coming out. When are we going to see more characters? What's the other costumes for the other heroes that we don't know of yet? Who knows? But that's just kind of like the brief update for you guys. I didn't want to do a full video about it, but just to let you guys know, there are some announcements that we can expect from Gamescom later this month in August down the line. Hopefully it's more than just the demo, because I do feel like if they were to showcase only the demo again and nothing else, that would be a little bit bad on their front, because they should show other stuff to hype people up about a different aspect about the game. But the main thing we're here to talk about actually relating to the game is the story, funny enough, because as you heard me talk about in my previous video where I did this, talking to you guys in person, is that the biggest problem with the game's marketing right now is that they're focusing too much on the story and not the gameplay. The gameplay is what matters most, which is true, but there also is a lot of narrative intrigue to certain people like myself who are very much invested within these Marvel video games and these new worlds that they're creating, like what they did with Spider-Man, what they're doing with Ultimate Alliance 3, you know, that game with the Infinity Stones and all that, and now with the Avengers. So one aspect that a lot of people aren't really focusing on, because it's super obvious to tell what they're doing, is that Captain America is dead, quote-unquote, heavy, quote-unquote, because, as we see in the demo, or the trailer, obviously, is that Captain America is on the new SHIELD helicarrier, the Chimera, trying to stop the Terrigen reactor, this new energy source that Bruce Banner and Tony Stark acquired somehow to try and power up their new Avengers helicarrier base, and it was unstable, something went wrong, and it exploded, and destroyed the helicarrier. And also what we see near one part of the trailer, like San Francisco itself is also kind of getting decimated in the background from this explosion, and Miss Marvel is exposed by the Terrigen mist. So there's a lot of crazy stuff going on with just this one aspect, but mainly we see Captain America, and the 5-year time gap afterwards is that he has a statue, supposedly like a monument, because he's dead. So, and also, you know, what they keep saying in the interviews with the cast, like Nolan North keeps teasing Jeff Shine, who's the voice actor for Captain America, like, it's because you're dead. That's why you got a statue, because they feel bad for you because you're dead. And Greg Miller's like, they did you dirty. You're only alive for the first 5 minutes of the game, and then you're gone. What's going on? So he can't say, obviously. We all know, though, he's not dead. I mean, come on. They're making an Avengers game. AAA Avengers game. Captain America is one of the most popular Avengers characters out there. They have his entire playset all mapped out. You know, throw the shield, cool combat, some Batman Arkham-esque style fighting moves with Captain America and using his shield and all this cool stuff with Captain America of all the other Avengers. There's no way he's gone. They could act like he is dead with this monument, and that's why Thor left his Mjolnir, left his hammer on Captain America's monument, possibly because in the cast interviews, they said that Travis Willingham believes that Thor, in this game's world, believes that Captain America, Steve Rogers, is the only one worthy enough to wield Mjolnir and who he sees as a true leader. So Thor really does like this version of Captain America. He admires him a lot, and that shows how good of a leader he was for this group of Avengers. How, like, rock solid of a team player he was, how important he was to, apparently, Tony as well, because when Bruce Banner and him are arguing, like, no, we didn't fail ourselves, we failed him. Most likely Captain America. So, if this is the case, Captain America, after this 5-year A-Day event, he's dead, but we can play as him, like what we see in the demo. So what's going on? What really happened to Captain America? So there's quite a couple theories I have going on. First off, though, just to clear, he's not dead. If they're going to bring him into the game to have him playable, there's no way that they're going to kill him off and never bring him back up. Although I don't want the story of this game to try and find Captain America. I feel like that'd be a very weird story to tell, because anyone with half a brain can identify, yeah, he's alive, because obviously he's going to be a major player in this game's narrative. But I don't want it to be, we gotta reassemble the heroes. So Thor is off, you know, figuring out if he's worthy enough or not. Black Widow's her own spy. Bruce Banner doesn't want to become the Hulk again because he believes that what they did was wrong with the Terrigen Reactor. And Tony's in a rut. He lost all of his toys, his cash, like what Nolan North says, and he's not being Iron Man anymore. So what I'm assuming is that Miss Marvel is now, after this 5-year event, she's exposed to the Terrigen Mist. She's now fully Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan has trained. She's become equipped with her powers. She knows how to use them. Then she stumbles upon one of the Avengers, maybe Bruce Banner or something, because we see Bruce and Tony argue in this cave, what it looks like. So I think, and also this was leaked too, and I do think it makes sense, that Kamala Khan as Miss Marvel is going to try and recruit each of the other Avengers members. So which is why we have 5 members so far of the main team, but you can only play as 4-player co-op. So that's because Cap is gone. So to reform the main 5 team members, I think Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, and Miss Marvel are going to be the new team. And then, like, what we see is that there's this new threat, either Taskmaster or this bigger unknown threat, which we will get into, is arrived. They are now trying to hurt the world and, you know, cause all sorts of evil, ever-escalating threats, and it's up to the Avengers. Even though superheroes are outlawed, it's up for the Avengers to reassemble, get back together, and stop all this travesty, all this danger that's going and hurting people around the world. So what I feel like could happen is that, again, Captain America could be missing, not dead. People just may be assuming he's dead, and maybe throughout the main story we're trying to find out where Cap is. Miss Marvel may have gotten some sort of update, maybe, when she's doing her own stuff. She may have tried to uncover the truth about what happened on A-Day. Like, the Avengers aren't guilty because people are blaming the Avengers, which is why they outlawed superheroes. So Miss Marvel, being the superhero fan she is, and what we hear from the trailer, like, you know, they say that they're murderers, but I know, you know, the truth, and, you know, that's not how this story ends. So she clearly, I believe, is going to be a full-on advocate for the Avengers, and she's going to try to fully discover what really happened with Taskmaster and the Golden Gate Bridge and A-Day and the Terrigen Reactor and the Mist. So I feel like because they all believe Captain America is dead, the main Avengers disassembled because of this, Miss Marvel may actually get some clues or insight or leads to the whereabouts of Captain America, or try and figure out what the truth actually is, and that could lead to the second part, which is the villain. So it could be either A, we try and find where Captain America is because he's missing, or he's on the run, or he's just trying to stay hidden because he feels like maybe he let the team down, and oh my god, I didn't save the reactor, I didn't stop the explosion from happening, it's my fault, so I don't want to be a superhero anymore. That could happen. Another thing is that maybe he's captured, because we do see these robots flying around Captain America's statue, these drones. And in the Behind Closed Doors demo, and also the Ant-Man trailer, there's those black and yellow, like, giant metal robots that are trying to attack the Avengers. And other stuff, like the helicarrier crashing supposedly in New York, and Hulk fighting Abomination, and Iron Man's in space. So all this crazy stuff's going on, but how does that relate to Captain America? What's the main threat going on that could have Cap be in trouble? And what I believe is that the main theory that I'm going with is that he's captured. I think Captain America is not dead, but I do believe during the events of A-Day, there were those soldiers, the Taskmaster soldiers in the demo. You could only hear this if you were watching the leaked gameplay or saw the gameplay in action at E3 or Comic-Con, is that the masked soldiers, Taskmaster's goons, they're there to try and mess with the Avengers and try and get the Terrigen Reactor. Because they're like, it was a heist, we were outsmarted, Bruce, it was our... we weren't prepared, we didn't know. It's like, no, it's our fault, Tony. So what was going on in the Terrigen Reactor in the Chimera helicarrier, I believe that the soldiers were trying to go after that. Taskmaster's goons were mainly after that reactor. But if you hear what they say to Captain America, is that Captain America is talking to the scientist over the radio, like, these energy readings are off the charts, I've never seen anything like it. So he's all, cliche scientist, like, I want to keep experimenting on this, it looks like it's going to be, a revolutionary source of power, we got to keep studying this, I still need all the data. But then Captain America's trying to shut it all down to save the helicarrier and save the scientist. But then these soldiers, they call him the Shepherd. So, like, all the Taskmaster goons that he's fighting in the helicarrier, they're like, oh, we got the Shepherd. We got him. He's here. We can take him out. And then Captain America himself, like, Shepherd, what are you talking about? So, there's clearly someone after Captain America. Maybe that was their plan all along, is that it wasn't maybe even after the Terrigen Reactor, but maybe they knew that Captain America would try and stop them to try and save the reactor. So maybe their whole plan all along is to go after Captain America, which leads us to the question, who are these goons besides Taskmaster's thugs, besides his mercenaries? Because clearly he was hired by someone. Taskmaster is not the main villain. Abomination is certainly not the main villain. So there has to be a puppet master pulling the strings, like Doc Ock. He was the main threat all along. The red herring is that what Insomniac tried to tell us, even though they confirmed a while ago, Mr. Negative, he's the main boss, focus on him. All the trailers were focusing on Mr. Negative and the demons, and then the Sinister Six were just kind of related to him. But no, it was Doc Ock the whole time. Otto Octavius was, trying to get back at Norman for ruining his life, so that was the main plot with the villainous side of that game's narrative with the story, which is great. This, we don't know, is because the Avengers are gone, superheroes are outlawed, whatever the villain's goal was, it seems to have been achieved, like, oh, we put down the Avengers, they're gone, we won, but then there's more trouble brewing, and that's why they have to reassemble. So I believe one of the goals is that I think they wanted to take down the Avengers and try and ruin their reputation, because they're expanding their hero gig across the world. They were in New York, and now they're in San Francisco to expand their branch, expand their heroic deeds, so that way everyone can feel safe. And then A-Day happens, and everything's ruined. So, I think he was captured by these people who are labeling him as the Shepherd, and I think it could be either AIM, Hydra, or possibly Baron Zemo, if he's also involved with Hydra. But Hydra also could relate to the Red Skull or something else. Or the Masters of Evil, with, Abomination, Taskmaster, that could start forming the small group. Each hero could get their own unique villain. But, you know, who knows what is actually going on with the greater villain roster. But I believe with Captain America's case, I don't think he's dead, but the most likely scenario for me is that he's captured by these villainous groups that we see in the Ant-Man trailer. These black and yellow robots, supposedly AIM, and the drones that we see flying near Captain America's statue. I think that what is going on is that they see Captain America as this beacon of hope, and if they take him out of the equation, that people will lose hope. Like what we see with this statue, this monument, people are leaving their condolences to him. Thor apparently gave up being Thor because he's Captain America's dead. So that shows just how big of an impact Steve had in this game's world. And if he's captured, possibly being tortured or trying to, you know, be manipulated to join the bad guy's side, you know, in the comics, Captain America was Hydra for a while, you know, or maybe they could do a Winter Soldier twist, like Bucky is alive, but then he got brainwashed by Hydra to work for them, so maybe Captain America is alive, but he's brainwashed to be part of the bad guy's team or something. So I think there's going to be a very interesting method to try and unveil the truth about Cap during the game's story, because we have to get more heroes in this game's cast, and there's also going to be missions for single player where you have to play as Iron Man in space. You have to play as Black Widow stealthily. You have to play as Hulk fighting Abomination. And of course, you have to play as Captain America being Captain America. So I don't think they're going to save him as like, oh, here's a bunch of other heroes down the line. You know, these other heroes will add on for free. It'd be insane if one of them was Captain America, since he's the core Avenger, literally the first Avenger. So I think that if they showcased that in a way, this story that Cap is gone, people are assuming that he's dead in this game's world, but all of us smart fans who know about how these games operate and where the stories are going, there's no way he's dead. He's obviously alive, but the question is, in what capacity? Is he still fully Captain America? Is he actually still able to fight? Maybe he's a bit evil now. Maybe he, I don't know, again, Winter Soldier twist, he lost an arm. He's, you know, fully brainwashed into thinking that the Avengers are his enemies or something like that. I have no idea, but I think that if we get a story of Captain America's missing, I gotta find him, I feel like that'd be very predictable, and that'd be very just blunt, you know, like straightforward. Like, you know, the Avengers are gone, but we're back together now. Now we got to get Cap back. But he's not dead, or he is dead, but then wait a minute, Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel are here, and they're saying stuff about the Terrigen Mist that we didn't really know before. So they're informing them of all this new stuff I feel like could happen for a story plot to excite people. Like, where's the twist at? What's the narrative twist going to be? It better not just be Captain America is alive, because that's obvious. So it has to be something deeper. It has to be the connections he has with either the villains or the other Avengers. So in the villains' case, if it is Hydra, then that's going to be very interesting to see them in this game's universe, like how Hydra impacts the Avengers and this the space station where Iron Man's flying in space, if that has to do anything with maybe trying to triangulate the location of where Captain America was last located. Maybe like they got a signal or something, or maybe there was like a radio beacon that Cap had, like, hey guys, you know, like Morse code, something like, oh, I'm here in Barbuda, AIM Island, try and get me, save me, please, I'm being held captive against my will, I can't get out, I'm stuck. So if there is an aspect of the story to save Captain America, that's fine. From either Hydra, Baron Zemo, or Red Skull, or AIM, you know, MODOK, I don't know if they're going to bring him in, but that'd be crazy. That would be fine as an aspect of the story, but don't make it the main narrative complex and main focal point of what the story is, because that'd be very predictable and just very blunt in my opinion. So have it as just an aspect of it, and also make it so that the other Avengers feel like they are as just important as Captain America is to this world. So everyone's really sad that he's gone, but what else can they do to save him? Well, if they work together and they reassemble, then they can bring Captain America back. So I think there's going to be a very interesting narrative intrigue plot to this game's story that will definitely invest fans of the Avengers, whether that's from the comics, movies, TV shows, whatever. But I don't know if he'll have like a major story point in the game, considering how people are going to be assuming he's dead for a majority of the plot, and they won't be thinking about it because they'll be focusing on the other Avengers. But I don't know. I think that they could add a very cool twist with AIM or Hydra or Baron Zemo or these other villains that we know from the comics in new ways, just like Spider-Man PS4 again. But in the terms of Avengers, where this story is going to continue for years to come with content, heroes, regions, all this stuff, I just hope that the main focus game that we get on launch, May 15th of next year, is filled to the brim with exciting story content that truly leaves me baffled and just as emotionally impacted as Spider-Man did, since the cast did say we only have seen like the surface of what the game's story has. You don't even know what's going to happen next, so I'm very excited about that, and hopefully they do go above and beyond with Captain America's story, since obviously us smart fans know he's not dead. He's most likely either missing or captured by these enemies that were trying to ruin the helicarrier on A-Day. And with that in mind, everyone, that's the video I have for you today, and please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. This was very fun just to discuss my overall thoughts and just lay it all out there for you guys, what you think about it, what is your theory as to where Captain America is, what really happened to him after A-Day. Is he dead? Is he missing? Is he captured? Is he brainwashed? Is he evil? Is he still an Avenger? Is he still a good guy? Who knows? Whatever the case may be with him, I definitely think that he is going to be one of the highlights of the game, considering how, the collector's edition statue is literally the statue of him from the game in the trailer, and whether or not that's all they could do without giving away any spoilers, I don't know, but I still feel like that they can add a lot of complexity and depth to this version of Captain America and how this version of the Avengers is truly affected by how great of a person he is in general. And if they pull it off and really make me emotional like I was with Spider-Man PS4, if we get Captain America back or something, I'm going to lose it, and I really, really hope the story, since that's what they're focusing on the most, goes beyond my current expectations. But with all that said, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Again, let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Until next time, everyone, stay merry, Marvelites, and peace out.